In the Brittanee Drexel case, investigators initially believed they had caught the culprit, bringing a sense of closure. However, a shocking revelation and confession emerged, throwing the case into turmoil. This turn of events left both investigators and the public puzzled, and it raised questions about the capabilities of the police department. The case took an unexpected and complex turn, leaving many searching for answers. On April 25, 2009, 17-year-old Brittanee Drexel traveled from Chile, New York, to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina with her friends. That evening, around 8 p.m., Brittanee left her friends at the Bar Harbor Hotel beachfront and walked approximately 1.5 miles south along South Ocean Boulevard to visit a longtime friend staying at the Blue Water Resort. Security cameras at the resort confirmed her arrival. Brittanee was carrying a beige purse and wearing a black and white tank top, flip-flops, and shorts. The cameras also captured her leaving around 8:45 p.m. Sadly, this would be the last time anyone saw Brittanee. Brittanee Drexel was in contact with her boyfriend, John Greco, who had remained in the Rochester area due to work commitments. They were exchanging texts throughout the evening. However, around 9:15 p.m., her messages abruptly ceased. Concerned, Greco started calling Brittanee's friends in Myrtle Beach to inquire about her whereabouts and well-being. When those efforts failed, Greco contacted Brittanee's mother, Dawn, who was unaware of her daughter's presence in Myrtle Beach until then. Then Dawn subsequently reached out to Chad, Brittanee's stepfather, and contacted the Rochester police in the hopes of establishing communication with law enforcement in South Carolina. Despite repeated calls and texts to Brittanee's phone, there was no response. This added to the growing worry and mystery surrounding her disappearance. Brittanee Drexel was born on October 7, 1991, in Rochester, New York. Her parents, John Cahioglu and Dawn, were teenagers and unmarried at the time. Shortly after Brittanee's birth, Dawn married Chad Drexel, who then adopted Brittanee. Following Chad's military service, the family settled in the Rochester suburb of Chile. In April 2009, Brittanee Drexel asked her mother if she could go to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, for spring break with some girlfriends. Dawn, her mother, refused the request. She had concerns about not knowing the other teenagers and the absence of accompanying adults on the trip. Additionally, Dawn had a premonition that something bad might happen. This disagreement led to tension between them for several days. On April 22nd, Drexel asked if she could go to a friend's house for a day or two to cool off, to which Dawn agreed. However, on that same day, Drexel left for South Carolina with the other students without informing her mother. The last person known to have seen Drexel before her disappearance was Peter Brozowitz, a 20-year-old nightclub promoter, and her 5-year-old friend. Brozowitz was also vacationing in Myrtle Beach. When police interviewed Brozowitz and the men sharing his hotel room, he initially became a person of interest due to being the last known individual to have seen her. Police conducted a thorough search of Drexel's hotel room, discovering all the clothes she had packed, but notably, her purse and cell phone were missing. Despite initial suspicion, Peter was eventually ruled out as a suspect. Dawn and Peter engaged in multiple confrontations on the television show, Dr. Phil.
You said you knew that the atmosphere down there was not safe, correct?
Correct.
So why didn't you step up and say, it doesn't matter, Brittanee, let me take you so-and-so. I can hear that you had an argument with John. Why?
It just seemed like you knew something that you weren't telling me. You knew something, and that bothered me, okay? This is about Brittanee. I want to find my daughter.
During these encounters, Peter frequently voiced his frustration over the harm done to his reputation. The phone's network pings were tracked on a path leading 50-60 miles south of Myrtle Beach in an area along U.S. Route 17, near the Georgetown-Charleston county line. The pings had stopped abruptly early on the morning of April 26th. Areas near there and around Myrtle Beach where a body might have been disposed of were then searched for 11 days, but that effort did not yield any information. For 7 long years, authorities struggled to pinpoint a prime suspect in connection to this case. Until in June 2016, the FBI held a news conference where they declared their belief that Drexel had met a tragic end shortly after her disappearance. According to their assessment, she'd been abducted from Myrtle Beach and transported to the vicinity of Georgetown, where her cell phone signals had last been detected, before meeting her untimely demise. To encourage tips, the Bureau offered a $25,000 reward for any information leading to the resolution of the case. Soon the FBI were interested in Taquan Brown, a South Carolina inmate who had begun serving a 25-year sentence for manslaughter. According to him, shortly after Drexel disappeared, he had gone to visit a McClellanville house of Timothy Taylor, also known as Stash House.
On this Monday, April 27th, I saw the girl.
In the Stash House?
Yeah, it was about 12 guys in there.
Did you recognize her right away?
No, I didn't even know who she was. I didn't know who she was until actually like a few weeks later when everything started coming on the news.
As he walked through the house, he saw Taylor sexually assaulting Brittanee with others present. He continued to the backyard where he found Taylor's father, whom he was there to pay after he made his payment. Brittanee ran from the house but was soon recaptured. Brown said he saw Taylor pistol whip Brittanee, then take her back inside. He then heard 2 gunshots, which he assumed were the sounds of the young woman being killed. Brown claims to have seen a wrapped body being removed from the house, then dumped in one of many alligator ponds in the area. Timothy Taylor had a prior conviction for his involvement in a 2011 robbery of a McDonald's restaurant in Mount Pleasant. He had been sentenced to probation in state court and had completed his sentence. However, the FBI continued to pursue him based solely on Brown's statement, despite a lack of concrete evidence. Following Taylor's arrest, the FBI pursued federal charges against him, accusing him of interfering in interstate commerce through threats or violence. This charge was related to his involvement in the 2011 robbery, for which he had already completed his sentence. The move raised questions about the handling of the case, as according to law, under certain circumstances, a person can face new charges if it's determined that their original sentence was unduly lenient. They knew that they cannot charge him for Brittanee's case directly, so they make this unusual move.
I may as well start with the obvious question. Did you kill Brittanee Drexel?
No, sir. I did not kill Brittanee Drexel.
Were you involved in the kidnapping of Brittanee Drexel?
No, sir, I was not.
Were you with Brittanee Drexel the night she disappeared in April of 2009?
No, sir. I was not with her.
What do you know about Taquan Brown? Do you know him?
No, sir.
You've never met him?
Never met him. Never personally met him. I wouldn't say I know I don't know him, but if I did met him, I don't remember him or anything, but...
After 13 years, investigators decided to re-examine potential suspects. Among them was Raymond Moody, a registered sex offender who had been released in 2004 after serving a 21-year sentence. He became a person of interest in 2011 when a relative contacted the police and suggested they investigate him, suspecting his possible involvement in her case.
That I ever loved him, you know, and now I feel like I never knew him at all. I think that I knew a part of him. I knew the part of him that tried to be better.
He was in Myrtle Beach area with his girlfriend, Angel Voss. Authorities called in Angel Voss for questioning. During questioning, Angel Voss, Raymond Moody's girlfriend, admitted that she couldn't confirm whether Moody was involved in Brittanee's disappearance. However, she didn't rule out the possibility that he could have been responsible.
That I could disappear just as easily as she did. That they mean nothing to him. They're just like a toy in his toy box. Well, he's gonna rape them for hours.
When Raymond Moody was brought in for questioning, he eventually confessed to everything. Moody, who's 62 now, confessed that he was driving in the Myrtle Beach area at a very slow speed with her girlfriend Angel. They were smoking pod, and Brittanee saw Raymond Moody smoking, of which he offered to smoke with them. Brittanee agreed and got inside his car willingly. They went to a wooded area for chilling and smoking some more weed. After a while, Angela left. When Moody was alone with Brittanee, he tried to be romantic with her, of which the 17-year-old resented it. This made Moody furious, and then he strangled her to death and buried her near the wooded area. Brittanee's remains were found at a gated private drive at the outskirts of Georgetown, South Carolina, on May 11, 2022. Timothy Taylor was released of any charges. This unprecedented development served as a stark reminder of the complexities that can surround criminal cases and the importance of a thorough and diligent pursuit of justice. As the truth finally emerged, it brought a mix of relief and renewed determination to find justice for Brittanee and her family.